Yo, what's up, Gear Nerds? It's your buddy Dustin from Blue Collar Gear Review. A little bit of a different video today. Wanted just to sort of just offer a piece of advice, or not necessarily constructive criticism, but just maybe things to look for. In the room, I have three different pedal boards, two of which are mine. My good buddy John's over here on the side. Want to talk a little bit today about powering your rig and powering your pedals to ensure that everything is getting the right amount of juice that's supposed to get. So, right off the bat, I want to just kind of steer you guys away from not necessarily. Let me rephrase. Not necessarily steer you away, but caution you from your $20 and $30 Amazon Temu pedal power supplies. They're advertised as being isolated, and they're not. They're basically a daisy chain in a box and with multiple plugs, just like your daisy chains would be if you were using a regular wall wart 9-volt adapter and putting the daisy chain on it. So, real quick, there's this. I'm not bashing any of these options, but when you look at things like the One Spot from True Tone, which is powering this board and the board in front of you here, it's 100% isolated power, meaning each individual stump box gets a dedicated power supply to its own built into the circuitry of the boxes. Whereas your power supplies and your Temus and your Amazons say they're isolated, they're absolutely not isolated. Not a problem necessarily if you have a handful of analog stump boxes that play well together. But when you introduce things like the Ernie Ball volume and tuner in one pedal, pairing it maybe close to the pitchfork, you're definitely going to run into some issues when you have digital pedals and sort of your analog pedals playing in the same circuitry. So again, I just want to point out you have options, and I'm not an electronics expert by any stretch of the word, but I've sort of ran into this along the way. To give a complete contradicting statement to what I just made, this board in the middle is powered by the Gator G Bus 8. It is not an isolated power brick. It's a sort of a daisy chain within a box. However, these pedals on this board are all analog pedals, and none of them have a digital kind of footprint. Therefore, there's no interference that occur. Now, where I'm going with this, and I want to be short and to the point, is you can spend 20 or 30 bucks on Amazon or Temu or whatever and get one of these power supplies. In fact, I think I ordered this off of Reverb as a senior pedal. It was marketed such, but it came in a box and it's a power supply. You may have seen the yellow and silver stuff, silver scripts, whatever. And you can use daisy chains, and that's okay if the pedals are behaving together as they are supposed to behave. My recommendation, if you can, because I do encourage budget-friendly opportunities, is to look at the True Tone One Spots, or if you got a little bit of maybe tax money because it's that time of year, maybe the Voodoo Labs. It's a little bit more expensive, but maybe the Voodoo Labs. Those units are 100% isolated power with the ability to have different milliamps for different pedals. So, for example, the board kind of right here in front of you guys, the MXR EQ pedal takes an 18-volt power supply. The rest of the pedals on the board take 9-volt. The True Tone has an 18-volt slot. It has 500 milliamp slots for pedals that have a lot of power draw. For example, the Fortin Natus pedal that I demoed on a previous video. But again, I wanted just to spend just a moment, because this was a recent kind of issue in the studio with my good friend John, as we're building some pedal boards for some different projects around the area. He was running into kind of this helicopter style sound, and a noise gate wouldn't fix it. Different patch cables didn't fix it, and it got down to the root of it. He was using a power supply or a advertised isolated brick, and the pedals themselves were not liking that power because they were sharing sort of a draw and misbehaving with each other. I did just sort of an overhaul of this board. I tried a couple different things, and a very good friend of mine, Ben, loaned me this One Spot from his board to give it a try to see if it cleaned up the signal, and in fact it did. So again, I don't want to spend hours or 30 minutes on a video saying the same thing. I do want to just remind you guys that yes, we're a budget-friendly group here. It looks like we have a lot of stuff, but most of the stuff has been loaned to me over time, or I have built these rigs just kind of as I've been able to. And one of the things you do not want to skimp on is power. You want to power your pedals the right way to ensure they're giving you the full sonic footprint they're intended to give to you. One example of that is the Line 6 G50. I did a demo a little while back, and lately I've been having some issues with it, like losing signal or just functioning as it should. I put one of the one spots under that board, and the power has been perfect, and I have had zero signal loss. So again, daisy chains will work. Daisy chains work okay for some things, but some things, like some of the more digital footprint items, just simply do not prefer that. I hope this was helpful. Again, I'm not saying don't buy these things. I'm saying be mindful, because certain pedals just play better with others. Again, this board using complete, true 100% isolated power bricks. The board in the middle is not using isolated power, but the pedals are playing nicely with each other. So you can get away with it if there are no digital pedals in your board. But if you have, again, some of the more modern stuff like the Ernie Ball Volume tuner pedal and the Pitchfork, other things of that nature, sometimes they start to misbehave. So before you throw a pedal away, before you chase down every single patch cable that you're trying to decide if it's a bad cable or not, take a look at your power. Take a look at how you're powering your pedal, and ensure that each of your pedals, each of your units are getting the right amount of voltage for those pedals, and the right kind of shared power if that's the case. So again, some of the isolated bricks like these are cool. Some of the non-isolated bricks are okay, as long as the pedals can handle them. These are advertised, these power supplies off Amazon and such, they're advertised as completely isolated power. They are not. I promise you they're not. Pull this guy from the board, zero issues. It's what my buddy John was using, and clean up the rig over just in a couple seconds with the right power. So again, hopefully again, short, concise video. I encourage you, if you're having trouble with your pedals, if something is not playing nicely, check your power supply. Make sure you're using good, proper power. That can solve a significant amount of your issues without really thinking that might be the culprit. It's easy to think your amp's blown, or it's easy to think your patch cables have gone bad, but it's really how to make sure that you're powering your gear the right way, and that goes a very long way. So again, thank you for watching. Very short video, very just concise video. But I hope that this is helpful if you guys are out there struggling with weird sounds in your rig and not being able to figure out kind of where they're coming from. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.